Hi church, Pastor Renier here. We live in an extraordinary time with an extraordinary opportunity to share the gospel. This week it is my honor and privilege to invite Hayley to share with us our mini midweek message. Over to you, Hayley.
Hello everyone, I'm here to do a midweek message. Renier has invited me to share. So around Christmas time, I looked at some of Isaiah for the first time, and I didn't realize that Isaiah lived 700 years before Jesus was born. I thought all the stuff that was written about Jesus was like not far or not long before he was born. So it surprised me that he prophesied about Jesus 700 years earlier. So I'm going to read something from Isaiah. It's Isaiah 53 verse 5. But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed. That was said about Jesus before he existed. So I'm just going to talk about Jesus and how in this time and in any time in life, he is the voice of hope, above everything, above our own circumstances. He was this voice of hope for me last year, especially when I was quite sick and I stayed home a lot. And one of the verses really stuck out the most, and it's from Mark. So yeah, Mark 5:35. While Jesus was still speaking, some people came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue leader. "Your daughter is dead," they said. "Why bother the teacher anymore?" Overhearing what they just said, Jesus told him, "Don't be afraid, just believe." So that verse kind of like spoke into me so much. He's not asking us to do anything, not asking us to try and figure it out, not asking us to think of ways that he's going to solve it even. He's just saying, don't be afraid and believe in him. So yeah, I think that message can go into any situation. We can just trust in Jesus. Even when the people around us are saying that this is death, this is the end of the world, this is over, Jesus comes in and says, don't be afraid, just believe. So I really like that. And just thinking about coronavirus and stuff around the world and seeing the number of deaths and everything like that can be really scary and can bring to the front of your mind things that you wouldn't normally think about. And that can be pretty paralyzing if you're thinking about it for the first time. And I've thought about dying and people around me dying, and it's not very nice, but there's so much that we can get from the Word of God. So I'm going to go to John 11, and it's verse 25. Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die, and whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this?" So I think it's really comforting to know that this guy who Isaiah talked about 700 years before he was born came about. He was born. He healed people. He loved people. He spoke life over situations that other people spoke death over. And then he's saying this. He's saying, although you'll die, you will live if you believe in me. And I just think that's so powerful right now that same man is giving us another promise to hold on to. And it ties back into what I read in Isaiah 53. So at the end part of Isaiah 53, verse 11, it says, "After he had suffered, he will see the light of life and be satisfied. By his knowledge, my righteous servants will justify many, and he will bear their iniquities." So when I read that, I think the promises that were said 700 years ago, or 700 years before Jesus was born, they came true. And it also speaks about how Jesus is resurrected and he has life again. And we read in the Bible that came true. So when I read John 11, chapter 25, that we will live again, we can just totally claim that even in this situation. So that's my midweek message, and I know it's really hard when you're just bombarded with hard information and the world is just speaking destruction and doom, and it's hard to know what's truth and what's not. So yeah, I'm praying that you all can find the truth and be strong in it, and just trust in the voice of hope that comes from God.